Hi there, Green Thumb Gardener here today, and today we're going to be talking about weeds. Alright, and timing is very important when you're doing weeding, because if you don't get rid of the weeds right away, then they could start to seed, and then you have a whole colony of weeds that come up. And when you could have just easily took out that one weed and then been done with it. But so that's why you want to really be have a regimen where you go out and you hunt for your weeds and you eradicate them from your garden. So there's a few different methods that you could use to eradicate weeds. One of them is chemical, the other one is manual, and the other one is burning them. Burning them, in my opinion, is the most fun. So chemical, you could use glyphosate, which is a generic name for Roundup. Many other chemical companies sell the same product, and I like using about a 40% solution of that because I find that to be more effective. The higher concentrations are going to cost you more money, but they're going to kill your weeds a little better. And the way I usually like to use it is using a tank sprayer, because then I don't have to keep on pumping their container that they sell, and it works a little better, and you could get different sprays from the tank sprayer. So that's a really good method to use, the tank sprayer. Okay, so that's for the chemical, and another method is manual. So there's a few different ways that you could get rid of weeds. Say if you have a long taproot, you could go after it with a tool like this, where you just get really deep in there. Like dandelion, it has a good taproot, and if you don't take care of it, or you don't dig it all the way out, then it's just going to reemerge. So but one that I like better than this one is the Hori Hori. So let me show you that. Here the Hori Hori comes with a nice sheath here, and you could put it in your pocket and just keep it in there, and that way it's not going to poke you, and it's nice and contained. And here it also has a flat blade on the one side, and then it has a serrated edge on the other side, so you could cut roots and dig with this also. And if you could also see here, it has a ruler on it, so you could see how deep it is that you're going. Say if you're planting bulbs, that could be an important thing. And yeah, this is I like that tool the best, because it's pretty small and it could fit right in the back of your pocket, and doesn't take up much space. And here is a sickle hoe here, and this is another method you could use. You definitely want to be wearing gloves when you're doing this, because these things could be very sharp. I found Japanese tools are usually very good for getting rid of weeds, and they are some of the best. Here we have a strap hoe, and the strap hoe, it is sharp on both sides, and you could just do a back and forth motion on the soil, and that will it will separate the weeds from the roots. And what that would do, if it's like a hot day like today, then it will just the whole root, it would just dry up and die. So that's another method, and that's one of the methods that I like to use too, because it's a natural method, and you don't have to salt the earth, and things will still grow there even though you just weeded. Here's another tool. Here is a sickle. This is for bigger weeds. Say if you're in a farm and have some tall grass or something, you might just want to use a weed whacker for something like that. But sickles work good around trees and things like that. So but you also want to make sure that they're sharp, otherwise you're not going to like the sickle, or any other tool that should be sharp. And now here we get to our last method here, and this one is burning the weeds. So here's my burner here. It has a self igniter on it right here. So what I would do, I would just open this up right here, and then I press this button, and the flame comes out from here. And there's a few considerations that you want to make sure that you're taking when you're using the burner, because you don't want to use it just anywhere, any day, and you definitely want to use caution when you're using it. So one thing that you want to look out for is a windy day. You don't want to use it on a windy day, because the fire could move from one side over here and then over here in just an instant, just from the wind. So you have to be careful about that. You also want to be careful if you're using it near an open field, because the open field, it could, get a lot of flames, and then it could, burn the field, and then you have a bigger problem. And so you want to use it in a contained environment. I usually don't use it along the fence perimeters because, I might not be able to get on the other side. And so, I do that. And you also want to be careful when you're using it along certain types of plants that have a lot of oil, like lavender. Lavender is highly flammable. It burns very easy. That's why sometimes you go to the hippie shows and they have them over there. So you want to watch out for using the burner by lavender or oily plants like that. And also, you want to always have your hose next to you, because that would that's one of your methods of containing the fire in case it ever becomes a fire. Hopefully it doesn't. Usually sometimes I might be burning a leaf or something, and it starts to catch on fire and stuff, and it's nothing that I can't just stomp out with my foot, and that works really good too. So yeah, my foot is usually the first thing that puts out the fire. If there is any other fire, I definitely use a hose. But so those are some considerations when you're burning weeds, and there you have the different methods of burning weeds. So go and kill your weeds. All right, happy gardening.